Imagine booking a room at a quiet hotel only to wake up in the middle of the night and realize someone else has already been sleeping beside you. But what if I told you this isn't just a campfire story, but a real unsolved mystery, where a hotel guest simply vanished, leaving behind no trace, no explanation, and no answers that make any sense? It begins on a rainy night in 2003, when a man named Daniel Reed checked into the Glenwood Hotel, a small family-owned place tucked away in the Appalachian Mountains. The hotel wasn't fancy, just a roadside stop with old carpets, creaky staircases, and a staff that had worked there for decades. To most travelers, it was forgettable. But for Daniel, it would be the last place anyone ever saw him alive. Daniel was a salesman, always on the move. He checked in at 9:43 p.m., according to the hotel ledger. The receptionist remembered him clearly because he seemed anxious, glancing over his shoulder as if someone had followed him in. She asked if everything was all right. He forced a smile and said, "Yeah, just a long drive." But something in his tone suggested otherwise. By morning, Daniel was gone. His car remained in the parking lot. His belongings were still in the room. His wallet, clothes, even his laptop sat neatly on the desk. But Daniel himself completely vanished. Here's where things get disturbing. The hotel had old-fashioned keys instead of electronic cards. Only Daniel's key could open his room. But when housekeeping entered around noon, the chain lock on the inside was fastened. The chain lock, which means someone had locked it from inside, but no one was there. How does a man lock himself in, then vanish into thin air? Police were called immediately. At first they suspected suicide. Maybe Daniel had jumped out the window, but the window was sealed shut with years of paint and rust. Maintenance had to pry it open just to check. The roof below showed no signs of anyone climbing down. There was no ledge, no fire escape, nothing. Then investigators considered the possibility of foul play. Had someone broken in? But the door showed no signs of forced entry. The hallway cameras, grainy and outdated, showed no one entering Daniel's room except him. No staff, no strangers, nothing. And yet, Daniel was gone. But here's the twist nobody expected. A guest staying in the room directly below Daniel S. reported hearing heavy footsteps pacing back and forth all night. Around 2:30 a.m., there was a loud bang, like furniture being thrown across the floor. But when questioned, no one else in the hotel reported hearing a thing. Only that one guest. What investigators found next changed everything. In the closet of Daniel's room, hidden under the carpet, was a small wooden hatch. It led to a crawl space that stretched across the length of the building. Dust covered every surface, except for one set of footprints leading directly above the lobby and stopping at a solid wall. When police checked the other side of the wall, they found nothing. No passage, no doorway, no hidden room, just brick. So how did the footprints end there? Some believe Daniel discovered the crawl space himself and tried to escape through it. But why? What was he running from? And how did he vanish in a space that had no exits? This is where rumors began to spread. Staff whispered about strange events that had happened at the Glenwood long before Daniel ever stayed there. Guests reported waking up to see a shadowy figure standing at the foot of their bed. Housekeepers said they heard voices calling their names when no one was around. One employee swore she saw a man's reflection in the lobby mirror when no man was actually there. Could Daniel have fallen victim to something far darker than a crime? Investigators dug into Daniel's past. He had no enemies, no criminal record, no reason to disappear. But they did uncover one unsettling detail. 2 weeks before his trip, Daniel told a friend he felt like he was being followed. He mentioned seeing the same black sedan near his office, at the gas station, even parked outside his apartment late at night. He laughed it off as paranoia. But was it? And if someone was following him, did they follow him into the Glenwood? Here's where the story takes a terrifying turn. 3 months after Daniel's disappearance, another guest vanished from the same hotel. A woman named Karen Mitchell, traveling alone, checked into room 6, the exact room Daniel had stayed in. Just like Daniel, her car remained in the lot. Her suitcase, her purse, everything left behind. But Karen herself was gone, the chain lock on the inside of her door fastened. Again, now the Glenwood wasn't just a creepy hotel, it was a crime scene. Police swarmed the building. They ripped up carpets, tore down walls, searched every inch of the crawl space. Nothing. Dogs brought in to track scents led investigators to the same dead-end wall where Daniel S. footprints had stopped. But beyond that, the dogs froze, confused, as if the trail simply evaporated. The town panicked. Rumors spread of a vanishing room. Locals said room 6 was cursed, that once you slept there, you never left. Guests cancelled reservations. The Glenwood's business collapsed. Within a year, the hotel shut down entirely. But the mystery didn't die. Years later, urban explorers broke into the abandoned building. What they found made headlines. In room 6, the walls were covered with strange markings, symbols carved deep into the plaster, hidden behind the wallpaper. They looked like circles intersecting with jagged lines, almost ritualistic. Paranormal investigators claimed they resembled protection symbols, or summoning ones. Even stranger, the closet hatch now led to something new. A hollow space behind the dead-end wall, no larger than a coffin. Inside it, explorers found scraps of fabric, buttons, and an old hotel key, room 6's key. But no bodies, no evidence of Daniel or Karen, just an empty space that should not have existed. So what really happened at the Glenwood Hotel? Some believe it was the work of a serial killer who used the crawl space to enter and exit undetected, though no suspect was ever identified. Others insist it was paranormal, that room 6 was a portal, a tear between worlds where unlucky guests simply slipped through. And then there are those who think Daniel's fears of being followed were the key, that someone or something had been after him long before he stepped foot in the Glenwood. But here's the most disturbing part. After the hotel closed, people reported seeing lights flickering in the windows at night. Some swore they saw faces staring out from room 6. When police investigated, the building was always empty. Today, the Glenwood Hotel still stands, decaying, its doors boarded up. Locals avoid it, calling it cursed ground. Travelers passing through often stop to take photos, unaware of the chilling history behind its walls. And room 6, its window remains unbroken, the curtains still drawn, as if someone or something is waiting inside. So I'll leave you with this question. If you were driving through a storm and saw the Glenwood Hotel glowing in the night, would you dare step inside? Or would you keep driving, knowing some doors are better left unopened?